that's just the nature of things. When people, those are the principles behind how relationships work. When you give, at some point you will get. I love this quote from Jim Rohn that says, I think it is from Jim Rohn, that says, when you've helped enough people, you will get what you want. And that has become the foundation of my thinking in my business. And as I just help people, I serve people, and I've run a business for the past 10 years and still working, and even in challenging economies. Why? Because those foundational principles are evergreen. They've worked for hundreds of thousands of years. They will still work, and they will work a few years from now on as well. Hello, amazing investors, entrepreneurs, coaches, whoever is listening to this. This can apply to you quite a bit. And the topic I've titled it as is short-term thinking is going to hurt you and those around you, and here's why. I'll start this off with a story. There's a story of Warren Buffett being interviewed, and I read this in Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And the interviewer asks him a question to this tone, what happened to your third partner? So apparently he had a third partner. I didn't know about it. For the longest time, all I thought was Charlie Munger was his only business partner, and he recently passed away. And the interviewer asked him, apparently this third business partner was just as brilliant and maybe even more than Warren Buffett, according to him. But here's what he said. He said, in these words, he was in too much of a hurry to make money. And so he ended up buying his shares, and then the rest is history. Nobody knows about the third partner. And the name was mentioned there. I don't even know, because he's not relevant anymore. And the reason why I shared this story is that it's not just in investments that it shows up. It shows up everywhere, especially when it comes to entrepreneurs. And I don't think it's their fault, or if you're an entrepreneur or investor, it's not your fault. We've all been trained to be short-term thinkers. Why? Because we're all a product of an family dynamics education system and the job world that teaches us to think only short-term. And I hope it's not by design. That if I were to give it the benefit of the doubt, it would be that they're doing it completely subconsciously without realizing it, and they're ruining every kid. By the time they become adults, they think in short term. And here's how it shows up. We think short term when it comes to our relationships, and the way it shows up is, what can I get from this person? One of the most interesting things, so I do these cold calls on LinkedIn. Usually I will connect with people, and I'll just get on a random Zoom call with them. And after the niceties, we get to know each other, support them, and I could almost tell that they're anxious about something. But I'll get to the end of a 30-minute call, and I'll be like, how can I support you? Can I connect you with somebody? Can I serve you in some way? Or I will usually find out what they need, and I'll usually connect them with somebody that might support them, or I'll send them some resources that might be helpful based on what I learned about them. And then I've heard this so many times at this point after these cold calls. I think 7 out of 10 will say something to this effect: is like, "Thank you for not selling me something." And I know why they're saying it, because pretty much everybody who reaches out to them on LinkedIn or Facebook or somewhere, they're trying to sell something to them. And my answer usually is, I don't even know you that much. How can I sell anything to you? I just know that this might be helpful for you. I don't know if my programs or my business or my offers will be helpful to you. I'd love for you to connect with me so we can get to know each other, support each other, and when you trust me, then you can go check out all my content, all my stuff. I do workshops once a month, once every 2 months or so. Feel free to invite people that you want. It's completely free. You can get a lot out of it. And at the end of that, if you get value, then there will be some kind of offer there. But for now, I don't really need anything from you. I just wanted to support you and actually connect with you like a human being. And my goal there is to actually build a relationship. I don't need to get anything from this person. Now, if this person likes me, trusts me, and gets value from me, at some point either this person is going to work with me, or he's going to send some a referral towards me, or he's going to recommend some of my stuff to somebody else. That's just the nature of things. When people, those are the principles behind how relationships work. When you give, at some point you will get. I love this quote from Jim Rohn that says, I think it is from Jim Rohn, that says, when you've helped enough people, you will get what you want. And that has become the foundation of my thinking in my business. And as I just help people, I serve people, and I've run a business for the past 10 years and still working, and even in challenging economies. Why? Because those foundational principles are evergreen. They've worked for hundreds of thousands of years. They will still work, and they will work a few years from now on as well. Why? Because they're at the core of our nature. Human beings need to see that you are there to support them. Of course, you have an agenda there. The agenda might be, well, I want to sell my products and services. I want to benefit from this. But that's in everything. That's an underlying assumption. Even if you have a personal relationship with somebody, you're benefiting in some way. When I'm with my family, I feel joy. I feel connected to them, and I take care of my kids, not to ask something at the end of it, but because I actually grow being around my kids. I actually grow being around my spouse. I actually grow being around other people around me. I learn from them, connect with them. I don't need to get something specific from them, but they sure do help me in a lot of ways as well. And if they do, that's great. And the nature of things is that when you're being helpful, you're connected to them, they trust you, they like you, they love you. Guess what? They're gonna support you at some point. And that's just the nature of relationships across the board in any culture. It doesn't matter where you come from, because that's at the foundation of being human. So most people think short term. What can I get from this person? They will go to networking events. Let me find this person's superpower. Where can they help me? And where can I help them? And we can partner up and create a business. They don't know anything about their values. They don't know about their vision for life. They don't know how they treat people. They don't know what their values are around business and life. And then they jump into a partnership a few years later. Guess what happens? They're like, why would I get into partnership with a person like this? They do the same thing. People do the same thing in their personal relationships as well. And then we do the same thing with other things in business. For example, we will jump into a business partnership, like I said, without thinking about the long-term effect of it. We will pick a career path for the next 5-10 years without thinking the next of the next 10 years. We think of the next 2 years, and we're like, how profitable will this be? We will look at an opportunity. How profitable will this be right now? But we don't realize that we're human beings. Now think about something as simple as a career path. Most people pick career paths because they were thinking practical. And here's how practical sounds to people. When people are thinking about career paths and they're giving advice to their kids about this shit, which makes no sense, is that they will say that, well, and this is how teachers teach them, so it's not even their fault a lot of times, or their own parents will teach them the same thing. They will say something to this effect. It's like, well, let's you're in high school, you're about to pick a college or trade or university or whatever it is. Let's take a look at these categories. How much money do people make in these in different categories? Well, this is how much on average lawyers make. This is how much on average engineers make. This is how much on average people in tech and arts and different things make. In fact, schools actually hand out these statistics to you and let you see the average income, and based on that, they will give you some recommendations. It's like the worst advice you will ever get in your life, and I got the same things too. Instead of finding out what this goddamn person is interested in deeply. What does this person care about? Does this person, even if this person can make a lot of money in this, what does it matter if this person spends 8, 10, 12 hours a day being miserable and then carries that energy in their home? And that's what happened to me the first couple of years of being in the job world. And as soon as I did that for 2 years, here's what was happening. I was miserable, and I was taking that misery into my personal life. It was very hard not to carry that energy. And you might say that, well, I'm very aware, I'm going to work, and then I don't think my emotions dictate what I do. No, that's complete bullshit. Think about it. When you are at a given work job for 8, 10, 12 hours, that's majority of your week you're spending there, and you're miserable, you hate it, you're disconnected from it, you're bored to death from it, you're going to carry that energy no matter how aware you are to your personal life and the quality of how you think, how you feel, and you're going to carry it, those frustrations in your relationships. If you don't think you do, then you're lying to yourself. And how do I know this? Well, I've worked with thousands of people who tell me the same goddamn story over and over and over, and that seems to be the pattern. And again, it's your life. You do what you want with it, but if you're honest with yourself, you will know that I'm telling the truth here. So stop telling people to pick career paths, businesses, opportunities, other things for short-term thinking like this that does not work. You might get money, but you will be miserable. You might get a few assets, but you will be miserable. Here's an alternative. Ask yourself and others this question. If money was not a problem, what would you do? If you had $100 million in the bank, what would you do consistently? And what would you do for the next 10 years? Not 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. Ask the same question. When you meet somebody, would I want to be interacting with this person for the next 10 years? Now, you might not know the full answer, but your intuition will tell you about this person. Would I want to be interacting with this person? If the answer is the resounding no, get the hell out of there. But if the answer is yes, find out more about this person. Do more due diligence. Same thing with the opportunities. Would I want to be in this real estate world or in this other business for the next 10 years? If the answer is yes, great, go for it. Let's say you want to be an author or a painter or a writer or an engineer. It doesn't matter what it is. And you're obsessed with that thing. You love that thing. And you don't think you can make a lot of money in that thing, especially things that people don't think are practical, such as I want to be an artist, musician, or painter, author, writer, speaker, whatever it might be. Go for it because you're passionate about it, and work your ass off and keep doing it. And the reason why you will excel in that, maybe not in the first 2-3 years, because you will have to understand it, learn it, do a lot, build a lot of skill sets, but eventually, and if you think long term, eventually you will develop some powerful skill sets, and you will develop people who would wanna look at your art, see your art, be served by you no matter what you're doing. And at the end of it, you were specialized in some area, and people would want to pay you money for them to, or they will exchange some kind of resource for you to share your gift or art with them. How do I know this? Well, there are lots of comedians who make money. There are lots of coaches who make money. There are lots of authors who make a lot of good money. Lots of speakers. Lots of painters. Not everybody, but who the hell cares? If there are 1,000 people that are making money in a field, then maybe you can be one of the 1,000 people if you're passionate enough and you're obsessed enough about it. If there are 100,000 people who are making money in a field and you become part of that and you will be bored to death, miserable, frustrated in that, what is the point of that? Listen, as far as I've understood in the 40 plus years that I've lived, life is too short to be miserable all the time. I'm not saying you have to be happy all the time, because there's a range of emotions, but if you're miserable all the time, if you're disconnected, if you're frustrated all the time, if you're bored to death all the time, you're wasting a lot of your time, and life goes by really, really fast. We recently lost a member of the family. Nobody expected that person to go. We've lost multiple people in the family. Most people take it for granted, and the narratives that they will tell you is that, well, I wish I had known. Well, have you not noticed people dying everywhere? You will die as well. The people around you will die. You might be 30, 40, 50, 60 now, but in about a decade, statistically, a couple of decades that you can count on one hand, you might be gone from here, at least physically. And what would that future version of you that's about to die say about your life? Was it worth it? Was it a life worth living? Did you make your life and those around you a little bit better than you came in? Did you leave something, a legacy of some values, some things for people to carry forward? And forget about the statistical stuff. Here's my take at this. If you, every day, by the end of the day, you don't feel like you've done everything that you need to do, And you can go to bed in peace even if you don't wake up the next day. You've done your best. Then that is the kind of life you want to build. And I know this might be controversial and you might not hear this anywhere else. Do the things that you love. Go work hard, build skill sets, serve people. But do things you're passionate about. Stop wasting your time on things that make you miserable. Stop being around people that make you constantly miserable. Find your path forward. Find a purpose. Find something that matters to you and stick to that for a long period of time. Stop with the short-term thinking. It's going to hurt you, those around you. And you're probably making a bunch of other people miserable because you're telling them to think, to go towards some profit or some gain in a short-term way. Think bigger. Think long-term. Every philosopher, every successful entrepreneur, every successful leader that I know of, they think long-term. They think in decades, not in days or weeks. Some people even think in centuries. If you want to be fulfilled, successful, do that. If you had a different perspective on this, I'd love to hear from you as well. Post that below. Excited to hear what you think so we can learn and grow together. And please share with anybody who needs to hear this. Until my next conversation, hope you have an incredible day. Bye.